So Tony, I'm very curious. I know that dancing has been a part of your life since you were a young child. Let's back up first and have you tell us a little bit about your childhood and how dancing came into play.
Yes. So I was single. I had a single mom, and I had two older brothers. So it was three of us, and they were involved in gangs. So I couldn't go outside all the time. So what I did, I grabbed their boom box, turned on some music, and then I would just dance. And it kind of like took me away from my situation, as well as, we grew up in South Central Los Angeles, and it's a lot of negative things going on out there. So I used to use music and dance to kind of pull me away from that area at the time, because it was pretty bad sometimes.
And you also enlisted in the Army when you got a little bit older, right?
Yes. So I enlisted in the Army because after I got out of high school, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was just kind of stuck. I was like, where am I going to go? So, along comes this recruiter. It's like, hey, join the Army. And I was like, sure. So I joined the Army, and I had the best time of my life. A lot of people don't look at the military as a form of, having a good time, but I literally had a good time. It is the best place to go where you can have a bunch of friends, you can hang out 24 hours a day, just hang out. And that's what we did. We just hung out and had a good time.
So let's talk about when you got out of the Army and you decided, you said you always knew what you wanted to do.
Yes.
Did you always know you wanted to work with kids?
Yes, I always knew that, deep down I wanted, little kids always say, what do you want to be when you get older? I want to be a fireman. I was like, I want to be a pediatrician. So one day I said, once I got out of the Army, because the Army kind of really set me on the path of this is what I need to do. So I said, one day I said, I'm going to be a pediatrician and let's start. So from then, I just started and I just kept going. I went to junior colleges. I went to Texas Tech University, and then I left there and went to UC Riverside, and I went to Loma Linda. So I did my neuroscience major. I did a master's in public health and global health and epidemiology. So I worked for the CDC for a bit, and then I went off and did my master's for clinical health science for a physician assistant. And from then on, it just kind of spurred and then kept going.
All right. So obviously you did all the schoolwork. You got the degrees that you needed to get to. Let's talk about when the dancing came into play, when you were with these kids. And I know we've got one of your patients, my little buddy, Elias, right?
Yes. So Elias is amazing. This is one kid that any of us in this room have gone through what he's gone through would not be here. He's been through so many things and almost brings me to tears. So he had childhood leukemia. He beat that, and then he started having a bunch of neurological issues where we had to do a bunch of different procedures for him. And then one of the procedures that we did for him, he just started to get really depressed and really down. So I said, when music and dance kind of took me out of my situation, I'm going to start it with him. So the next day I said, let's turn on some music. I'm going to get up and dance. I'm going to act the fool in front of you. So I started dancing, and then pretty soon he started like, hey, he's having a good time. I'm going to get up. So he started dancing with me, and his mom filmed it, and then she put it on social media, and then it just took off like wildfire. And that's where it started.
And what did you notice happening, and like in particular with Elias? What did you notice different when you started dancing with your patients?
Yes, his whole demeanor changed. He was like, you can look at a patient and you know that they're in a dark place. I looked at him, and he was 12 years old at the time, and he was in a dark place, and it changed him.
And did you notice a change in him recovering? Did
Yes.
you notice it? I mean, what did you see happening?
Yes, I saw that he was more positive outlook on his recovery. He was more hopeful because we know it's going to get better. But he, as a child, you're used to being outside, hanging out and being with your friends, and he's in this room with another patient in the next bed, and that's hard. You're not a child anymore. You have to start making adult decisions of, should I eat today? Am I in pain today? Things like that. But when I started dancing with him, it just kind of, the magic came back into his eyes.
Yeah. And you also have Avery.
Yes,
right? You wanted to talk
Avery is
about
my
Avery.
that's my little girl right there. It's my little girlfriend.
Tell us about Avery.
So Avery, she had a brain abnormality down in the cerebellum, where anytime she would turn or get up too fast, she would get really dizzy, and she always wanted to be a ballerina. So every time she come into the office, she would wear a ballerina outfit, because she said, "Tony, you're gonna help me? You're gonna help me be a ballerina?" Yeah, sorry, that made me cry. But yes, so we did a surgery and it corrected that. And she came into the room after she was discharged home, and she did a little twirl, and I did a twirl with her. And we had a good time.
And we've got a date here. I mean, this is March 15, 2017, and then July, just this summer.
Yes.
She was in to see you.
Yes, that's my little buddy. And I got on the same outfit.
It's the uniform.
I didn't plan it.
I think we figured out the uniform. Right? And tell us, I mean, Avery, when she comes to see you, I mean, where is she now? Are you seeing her progress in her?
Yeah, so after, usually after we kind of part ways, a lot of the parents and the kids, they follow me on social media. So I see their life as it progresses. And we comment on each other, then we see each other at Disneyland, and we act like it's nothing, no time has been apart from us. She is literally my little girlfriend.
When you first started doing this, was there any pushback, hospital administration saying, you can't be pulling these kids out of bed and dancing with them? Did you get pushback?
Not from CHOC. So I work for two hospitals. CHOC is on one side, St. Joseph's is on the other side, the adult hospital. The adult hospital, they didn't want that kind of stuff going on there. But the children's hospital, they were like, wow, this is like publicity free. Yeah. They're like, come on. Yeah. And we went, and they are usually instrumental trying to get me to do different things such as this. That's fame. I want to live forever. But yes, so CHOC themselves, the marketing department, have been very instrumental of helping me do this with the kids. Yeah.
Hospitals, everyone's trying to be more engaging these days, more customer-centric. What is your advice for people in this audience about trying unconventional methods in healthcare?
Yes, so, it's so easy for us to give medicines and treat patients medically, but it takes a different individual to connect on a more personal and add a personal touch. So everybody has their own traits. For me, music and dance was mine. For somebody else, it may be magic tricks. For others, may pull out a harmonica and start blowing on the harmonica. But we have to find something that is going to connect, because once you connect with that patient, you win, and they will trust you with their life forever.
I'm sure parents are trusting you with their kids' lives forever too.
Oh, yes.
Right?
And I'm honored.
Absolutely.
Yes.
What's next for you? What do you look at next?
Well, I was on Dr. Oz this morning, but I didn't get to see it because I was en route. So.
It was pre-recorded, but we'll all hopefully get to check it out.
Exactly. So it's a bunch of different things that are in the talks of going on, but at the end of the day, it's not about all the publicity and things like that. It's all about me taking care of my patients and their families and making sure they feel comfortable, because coming into the hospital already has a bad connotation. Seeing a neurosurgery is even worse. So I try to bridge that gap to make sure everybody is comfortable. And I do it the way that I know how to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You brought up, we're seeing you dancing with so many different patients. I know you sent us a couple of pictures, but there's got to be just so many different stories.
A ton of them. From
different kids. Is there one that we didn't bring up that you would think about every day, that enters your mind every day? Tell everybody that story.
Yeah, so I have one little kid. we did surgery on him, and then he came back about a week later because he had some type of complication, and he couldn't walk. And I came in there one day with a news group, and they were like, "We're going to film you. Do you want to get up and dance?" And he didn't get up for at least 2 weeks. And as soon as I showed up to his bedside, he got up, and we were dancing. He has a walker, so if you ever go on my Instagram, you'll see him. He has a walker, and he's dancing. He's like, ah. It is the most amazing. His mom was in tears because she tried to get him out of bed. He didn't want to get out of bed, and it's so breathtaking to know that you're making a huge impact on their experience because they're going to remember everything.
Yeah, and I'm sure these kids reach out to you
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Avery is your girl.
That's my buddy right there.
You said, I haven't heard of a doctor who's going to Disneyland with his patients before, right?
Yeah.
You're going and seeing these kids
Oh,
there.
yes. Because I have a season pass, so I will put on there that I'm going to Disneyland, and all of a sudden all these little kids show up.
Absolutely. There you go. That's awesome. We're here talking about digital transformation and technology, and is dancing just one of your tools? Is it one of the tools in your belt? Because there's got to be a complete tool belt, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah, it's just one of them, but it's the one that I use majority of the time because you do have kids that don't want to get out of bed. So it's like, all right. So I have 2 daughters, so I kind of know how to connect to kids as far as like different things that they like. And I kind of connect with them just by joking and being silly. I tell them, can you draw me a picture? I can put it on my desk. And, sure enough, they'll draw me a picture. And I've had a rock that somebody painted, and it was a bow tie for me. So I put it on my desk. So I get all type of different things that I kind of come my way. And it really means a lot to me. My desk is full of little trinkets that I get from kids. And I love it. It's just like the movie Monsters, Inc. The concept was scare the kids so they can run our world. But then when the girl started laughing, it kind of blacked out the whole city. So do we need to make sure their pain is under control? That's perfect. But if we make sure they're having a good time, that goes a long way.
Are there certain technologies that you're excited to see that are helping these kids as well, that you're able to incorporate, that you're learning about or seeing down the road? Yeah,
so we do a lot of, we have different gaming systems in the hospital. And, the old technology is still just bringing in a dog and let them pet the dog, and that anytime a individual pets a dog, they release endorphins, and it makes them feel a lot better. And you getting them laughing and having a good time, that's releasing a whole lot of endorphins, and you feel great.
Absolutely.
It's better than pain medication sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm sure for you, you're always looking at, the things that you can bring the human aspect in. But
Yes.
now we're all looking at these technologies that are coming in that are just adding to your tool belt.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
The future of healthcare. Where do you see that? Here's the tough question for one of the last ones. The future of healthcare. Where do you see healthcare going?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Payer-provider collaboration. You think we're going to get there?
Yeah, I hope so.
We're having these conversations for that reason, right?
Yeah, no, I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think what you're doing is pretty amazing.
Thank you.
Absolutely amazing.
It's my pleasure. It's an honor to be able to take care of these kids and these families to entrust me with them.
Absolutely. What a guy, right? A round of applause for Tony Adkins, everybody.